What up, the Droid here, the power of Kazakhstan. Today I bring you a surprise game, episode 7, and today's game is Verdun. And from looking at it, you're probably wondering, oh, pretty cool World War I, World War II game. And it is, actually, pretty fun to play. It's still in beta, so there's some rendering glitches and like game glitches, some registry glitches, which I'm fine with because in beta that's the point of beta. You try to fix this. And this game is I think it's an indie game, so there's not a big publisher behind it. And the team, I think, is like a team of like 3 or 4 developers, and they're actually doing a pretty good job. I'm basically reviewing this game. And what you do in this game is basically pretty much a rifle-on-rifle warfare, unless you pick a commander which has a pistol, but pistol sucks on really long ranges, and usually the lines of sight in this game are long ranges. And the machine gun is actually kinda OP since you can shoot a lot, but you cannot shoot from the hip. You have to deploy all the time, so you're basically stationary and an easy target. And then there's a snipzor. Snipzor does his snipzoring. Anyway, what do you do in this game? At least in this game mode, I think it's called skirmish. I'm not sure, but what you do is basically you capture trenches from the other team. And this game is set in Western Front, I think, in early ages, so it's like French versus Germans most of the time. And I'm playing as French, and as you can see, we captured the enemy positions. Now we're preparing for the counterattack, basically defending our positions. So basically, it's time to camp. And yeah, what I really like about this game is it's really fun to play, and it's very balanced. Like all the rifles pretty much have the same stats. Some of them like do a little bit harder punch to like the chest or to like the legs, but they compensate with like ammo. Like this one, I have to shoot all 3 before reloading. That kind of sucks because sometimes I want to shoot the guy and I'm like, ah fuck, I have to reload, even though like I press R in order to reload. And the game modes are very fun to play in my opinion. As of now, as of May 2nd, there is this game mode where you attack and defend trenches. There's another game mode called I think Deathmatch, Rifle Deathmatch. Basically explains itself, basically a free-for-all on rifles, or I think they might be also adding a team deathmatch. And it's just really fun. I really like the setting because World War settings just fits for it. It's just like there aren't many games that are set in World War era, World War I era. And it's just like something different to play. And this game, as I said before, is developed by few people, so graphics wise it's not too impressive, to be honest, but hey, graphics aren't everything. Gameplay is everything, in my opinion. That's my tactic whenever I play the games. Like a game can look as good as Battlefield 4, even better, or you know, but have a really shitty gameplay. I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna fucking destroy it. But if the game looks like fucking Doom and plays like the best game of all time, like, oh, good example is Half-Life. Graphics as of now are really bad, but I still can play it because the gameplay is just amazing in Half-Life 1. And yeah, pretty much the graphics aren't everything. And as of beta, there are some few glitches and problems. One problem is the terrain doesn't load on long ranges, which somewhat is a problem because the lines of sight are very long range. And another thing is the hit detection sometimes is bulky. Like what I mean by terrain not loading is like you see these barbed wires. Sometimes in the long ranges they don't even load, and you're like, you see the guy there, but you're shooting a barbed wire. Thus, it fucks up the hit detection sometimes. Hit detection is kind of perfect since it's a dedicated servers, but it sometimes fucks up because of the rendering glitches, and you'll see like it feels like the heat detection not working, but in reality is the materials that did not load. And yeah, the game, as I said before, is very fun. I would recommend you to buy it. It's actually very cheap. It's like 15 euros, I think. I'll have a link in the description for a Steam store. It's only for PC as of now, since it's an indie developer, and it's very hard for indie developers to go into consoles. and I don't see a point for them to go into consoles, because consoles are basically dominated by big titles like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Only PC gamers usually are the ones who give benefit of the doubt. And to me, this game feels a lot like Red Orchestra 2, like in the rifling compound, and like the size of the maps, and somewhat of the tactical area of it. Feels a lot like Red Orchestra 2. If you haven't played Red Orchestra 2, it's a very fun game set in World War II, Soviets versus Germans, and then there was an expansion called Rising Storm, which set in Pacific Theater, and yeah, it kind of feels a lot like it, except more gimped down, and like simpler version of that, because you only have bolt action rifles and just a machine gun. And what I heard about in this game, from like what developers were saying, that they are going to add the gas artillery. There isn't a mortar artillery if you spawn as a commander, but I heard they're gonna add gas strike. Basically, I think you had to put on your gas mask and shit in order to not die. And yeah, it sounds just like really cool in my opinion. Like, I'm looking forward to it when it's gonna be like the full game, because still it's in the early stage of beta. They have to fix some gunplay and like rendering issues, and like I feel like this game is just gonna be awesome when it comes out, like the full release, because like as of now it's really fun to play, and there's a lot of people playing. Well, technically not a lot, there's only like few hundred people playing, but as long as you can get into a full lobby and play, the game is playable in my opinion. That's my tactic. And I think it might grow if they when like it's gonna be a full release. One thing I really like about this game, that it's like it tackles World War I era. Like there isn't many games that are set in World War I. In my opinion, usually the first-person shooters that are like made are usually World War II and Modern Warfare. I'm not talking about Call of Duty, but you know what I mean. They're set in that era, and thus it's just like feels like there's some gap in the FPS genre. Just we need more of World War I. But World War I is a bit more boring in my opinion. It's more like it's better for the RTSs, because the variety of guns is less, but I think Verdun just made it perfect. Like the guns are simple, and it focuses more on the maps play. Like the way you approach the maps and the way you approach the enemy team is very important, because you can flank really easily, or you can just hold the trench and just like be an unstoppable fortress with your squad. And the classes in here actually pretty cool. You have a machine gunner, which has a machine gunner and I think pistol as well. He's fairly balanced, because he's very slow, and like he has to deploy his gun, and then he can shoot, and he can be killed very easily if you just like headshot him. And then there's a commander which can call a recon plane. Depending on the squad, there's like two types of squad. One is, I think, is the attacking squad, and the other one is more of like a defending squad. And then the other squad commander has a mortar, which he can call in over a time limit period, and he can kill people, which is kind of cool. I like it. And in the future, as I said before, they will add probably artillery strike, a gas artillery strike, and stuff like that. Should be really fun to play with. And the other ones are Grenadier, which has a grenade to throw, and a rifle. The mortar commander that can call on mortar only has a pistol, which is kind of like a trade-in in order to use a mortar technically. A recon commander has a proper rifle, I think. There's a sniper, I think, as well. And the sniper, self-explanatory. And there is a like Sturmer, I think, like the guy that can storm the area. Basically, he has a bayonet, and basically they can kill anyone with one hit melee. Because here you have to, like, if you don't have a bayonet, you have to butt stock him, I think, twice. It's kind of annoying when you meet the bayonet guy, but it's pretty. There is variety. There's a lot of rifles as well. There's like, for example, French have like, I don't know, like 5 rifles already, like different bolt action rifles. Same for Germans. It just adds a bit of variety, even though they technically somewhat feel the same. Some of them have like higher fire rates, less ammo, or like you cannot reload unless you shoot all of the ammo, which in my opinion adds very good balance to the game, because it's just, to me, this game just feels very balanced. Like the developers just nailed it perfectly. The only thing they just need to fix is like network issues, some performance issues, and like graphics a bit, like tweak the graphics a bit, because like sometimes they don't render properly, and I think that's what they are focusing on. And of course, try to add more game types, in my opinion, because rifle deathmatch and the trench warfare, as I like to call it, is, I don't think it's enough, in my opinion. Like if I was the developer, I'll add something like a I don't know, let me think about it. Maybe like, I don't know, conquest from the battlefield, so you don't have to like attack and defend. Same, basically the same idea, but you can, or basically King of the Hill, basically control no man's land. Whoever controls no man's land wins, or proceeds to another no man's land area. But yeah, oh, another thing I would really love to see, but I think it would be out of context a bit, because it's set in like I think in early ages of World War One, is to have tanks, basically. But to balance them out, they have to be really slow and shit, because they were really slow. And I think if they had tanks, it's gonna be only on one side, which in my opinion would be kind of disbalancing. But I guess they can balance it by having Germans more like explosive stuff, or the anti-tank gun, or making the gun a bit more useless, like very slow and very like less maneuverable. I think they should add the tank, because in my opinion they'll just add more variety to the game. And if developers want it, they can even expand to another fronts, like maybe have a Russian, I mean Eastern Front, Russian versus German. But I don't think this is very necessary, because it's just going to be the same game, but the people and the rifles are going to be remodeled, and just like a few specs are going to be different. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Verdun. Verdun is a very fun game. I would recommend it. It costs 16 euro in here, and it's just, overall it's very fun game to play. Like you will love it. To me, it feels like Call of Duty 2 rifling, like Call of Duty 2 rifles. That's what it feels like. If you loved Call of Duty 2 bolt action rifles, you're gonna love this game. Trust me. This is one of the best games I ever played. It's much better than some AAA titles, multiplayer wise. This is only a multiplayer game, so it's worth your money. And there's quite a good amount of people playing, around 500 people, which in my opinion is pretty good for a game that is not very known, it's not very popular, and it's still in beta stage, because usually when there is beta there's less people playing, because they sometimes might get annoyed by stuff like rendering issues, or like input lag, or lag in general. And yeah, this game type is very fun, but since it's gonna take a long ass time to finish it, or actually to win, you have to get 4-0. I think you have to win 4. Like you have to have, no, you have to capture all of the points. You have the time limit. If you capture more points than the other team, indicated at the bottom left, you win. If the time runs out, or if you cap their last area, you win. Basically, we are on the verge to capping the last area. And oh yeah, I was playing as a commander. Gonna call in a recon plane. I never noticed that I was a commander. You had to pull up binoculars and call in a recon plane. But thanks for watching. Droid22 starting off. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. And there will be more commentaries to come, and montages.